I'm back for part two of my most recent visit from my favorite local coin shop. In part one of the series, we looked at the coins that were in this bag. So that was the previous video. Today we're going to look at the coins that are in front of us on the screen as a recap. These coins came from a 4 for $1 bin. I ended up picking up 76 coins. That ends up to $19, and we did pretty good in the first bag. So let's jump right in. We're going to start with a coin from Colombia. This one is a 500 pesos, dated 2007. Very simple design on this bimetallic coin on this side, but as we flip it over, we see a tree. This coin is catalog number 286. The type of tree, it says it right here, it is a guacari tree. This specific coin was made from 2002 to 2012, and then starting in 2012, Colombia changed all of their coins to feature local animals, and the 500 peso became a frog coin. By the way, in this video, I always like to keep a running tally of the book value of everything that we took a look at. And so our coin here is going to have a book value of $1.25. Now, I know I'm not going to be able to sell these coins for their book value when it's all said and done, but it's always fun to try and figure out what we have and where the price goes on something like this. So I'll keep a running tally, and at the end, I'll give you a total of what everything booked for. Our next coin is going to be this one right here. This one's going to come from Libya. It is a 50 dirhams coin. As we flip this one over, we have the armored equestrian shown here. On the left, it has our calendar of 1979. On the right is their calendar of 1399. Catalog number is KM22. It is a one-year coin from the People's Socialist Libya. And this coin books for $1. This next coin turned out to be something quite interesting. I didn't realize what I had when I first picked it up and bought it from the store, but after going home and looking at it, I thought about it and realized, wait a second. So we're going to look at this coin from Fiji. It's a 1 penny coin from 1936. Their 1 penny design looked pretty much like this for a long time, but as we flip it over, this one mentions Edward VIII. If you're not familiar with Edward VIII, he was not king very long. In fact, it was less than 1 full year. Only in the year 1936, he decided to abdicate the throne because he chose love over being king, and the person that he wanted to marry was going to cause a scandal, so he gave up the throne so that he could choose love over that. So, as it turns out, there were not many coins that featured Edward VIII on it because he was not king very long. If you think back to when Queen Elizabeth II died and King Charles took over, it took over a year for an approved portrait to appear on the circulating coins of King Charles. So he was not king long enough to appear on any country that would actually have a portrait, but there were a small number of countries that just put the name on the coin, and so those are going to be the only countries that you'll find a coin like this that actually says Edward VIII that was made while he was king to be a circulating coin. Now, I'm sure there are plenty of modern coins that have like one of every monarch in the past that is just a purely commemorative coin. A lot of fantasy issues out there. But this one is different. And just doing a quick search, this was the only coin from Fiji that had Edward VIII on it. But there's also one from New Guinea. British West Africa and East Africa were the only countries that I could find that would make this. And so I might turn this concept into its own little video in the future. I did not have this coin. I had some of the others, that I'd mentioned, and even when I bought those, it didn't occur to me that it was, wow, it's an Edward VIII coin. But as we look at this one there were only 120,000 of these made. And so this one has a book value of $4, which is really nice to find in a quarter bin. Catalog number on this one is KM number 6. And so hopefully I'll have a chance to make a video about that coming up pretty soon. Now this next coin is one that I thought I already had. We're going to take a look at it here. It's from Peru. I mentioned the Central Bank of Peru around the edge, has a date of 2011. When we flip it over, it is a 5 nuevo or new soles. The reason I thought I had it was this was a design that they used for a few years, but the original version of the 5 new soles had some changes to it. And I had the older version of it, but not this newer version. In particular, the bird that is artistically drawn on here is called a frigate bird, and the frigate bird was completely inside the middle. None of it touched the ring. The number 5 was smaller. The Lima mint mark was smaller on it, so that makes this one a completely different coin. There are also some lines that, of course, go in the background of the word soles on here, decorations that run across the top through there, so completely different coins. So the original version of the 5 new soles ran from 2010 to 2015. I have that backwards. It ran from 2001 to 2009. This specific coin ran from 2010 to 2015, and then in 2016, and since then, they have dropped the nuevos or new from their currency. This one is KM 344, and it books for $2. Now we're going to go to another coin that I thought I had. It turned out I didn't. This one's going to be from Iran. It's a fairly large coin. It has the king, or as they would call it, the Shah on here. So Mahi Reza Shah Pahlavi. On here at the bottom, it has a date of 2535. The Iranians had started a new calendar. So there are a couple of versions of this coin from a couple of years earlier where the first number started with a 1 instead of a 2. They would have used the typical Persian calendar, which was still different than the common Arabic calendar on here. But the real difference comes over on this side. This is going to be a 10 reals. And my mistake, this is a 10 reals coin, and this side is the side that looks like all of the versions of this coin. The difference is on here, and it's because I can't read Arabic, but along the top of this coin, above the portrait, that translates to 50th anniversary of Pahlavi rule. So the name of the calendar on here was the Iranian Imperial Calendar, and the Shah Mohammad Reza was king, but not for 50 years. Instead, his father, Reza Shah, became the Shah in 1926, and then when he died, this Mohammad Reza Shah took over and ruled for about another 35 years. And this specific year, which on our calendar is 1976, it was the 50th anniversary of the Pahlavi dynasty of the father and son ruling Iran. But the Iranian Revolution overthrew him in 1979. So this was the last Iranian dynasty. This coin is... despite all of that, it's not that rare of a coin. It books for 50 cents. Next, we're moving to a coin that was ruled by France. This is going to be from New Caledonia, and I had a coin from them in the last video, and I pointed out at the bottom it had the letters IEOM on here. Well, for the first couple of years, that New Caledonian coins, and this is going to hold true for French Polynesia, probably Reunion, and some other French countries. In the early 60s, they did not have IEOM on it, but after a couple of years, that was added to the bottom of this coin. So that makes this a fairly rare coin. We flip this one over. It is a 20 franc. There are some animals in the back of this one, depending on which catalog you look at. These are either going to be called zebu or ox. Catalog number in this one is KM number 6. This coin books for $2.50. And there were 300,000 of these minted. And so the first couple years without the IEOM are harder to find, as they made the newer version with the IEOM probably all the way up until from about 1971 to 2005, somewhere through there. This next coin is an upgrade in my collection. It's going to be from South Africa. This one is from 1971, and this one is considered the bilingual version, as it has both South Africa and the language as it's spelled in Afrikaans, Sweet Africa. This one's going to be a 50 cents coin. Catalog number on this one is KM87. This bilingual version was made for a couple of decades, from 1970 to 1990. Now we're going to move to a coin from Denmark. When the king was Christian X, King of Denmark. It's a 1 krone from 1942, featuring 1 stalk of wheat and oat. This coin out of aluminum bronze was made from 1942 to 1947. Catalog number is KM835, and this one has a book value of $2.25. These were made out of silver. At least the 1 krone in Denmark was made out of silver until 1916. And so they were one of the first coins in the region to drop the silver from their coins, as this one was aluminum bronze. This next coin doesn't have a high book value, but I like to pick it up anytime I can and add it to my trade pile, just because it would appeal to people that might not necessarily even be interested in coins. And it's going to be this coin from Egypt right here, because it has 3 pyramids of Giza on it. And so a lot of people, like my wife's uncle, who don't care about coins, but he does care about the pyramids of Egypt. This coin is going to be a 5 Kirsch. Has a date on here in Arabic of 1404. Our calendar is 1984. The catalog number is KM622.1. And there are 2 versions of this coin. So this is the first version, where if you look at, they draw their number 5 like a 0 or like a raindrop shape. And it's smooth on here, but version 2 is called the shaded 5, where there are lines that run through the number on here. Next, we're going to look at a circulating commemorative coin from Thailand. They have issued a lot of those over the years. And I knew I had this coin, but this one looked in brilliant condition, so I wanted to go ahead and pick it up in case it's an upgrade. But here we have Rama the Ninth. On this side, it's going to be a 1 baht from their calendar year of 2520. On our calendar, that is 1977. And in the catalog, it has the Yemen number Y110. So this one features almost looks like a dragon, but it is a ship that is made to look like a dragon. So if you look closely, this is the royal ship, and there's a bunch of oarsmen on here who are rowing. So this is called the Golden Swan Royal Ship. And then in the background, there is the Wat Arun Temple way back in the background on this coin. Many coins from the Vatican are hard to come by, so I pretty much pick up all of the ones that I find in a quarter bin. This one is going to be a 1 lira, so the lowest denomination that they had. And it mentions on here it's Pius XII, Pontius Maximus, year XV is 15, so it's the 15th year that Pius XII was the Pope. On this side, it tells us that's going to be 1953. Fortunately, this coin is a little bit stained, but otherwise it has good details on it. It's a small aluminum coin, and at the very bottom it has in Latin, it has the word temperance on it. And so it shows a man here pouring into a bowl. And so this is the concept of temperance, pouring a libation. You could kind of see this as taking wine and watering it down as a Catholic virtue. This one is catalog number KM49. There were 400,000 of these made, but there were, for the Vatican, that is a large number. In future years, they didn't make as many, so in other years, there are some key dates on here where it's a lot harder to find, where they'd make fewer than 20,000. We're going to move to Finland for a bimetallic coin. Dated 1993. In older coins from Finland, they just use their name of Suomi, but now they've also added what we call them, Finland. On here, in the middle of the ring, that is a bird called a capercaillie. It has brass in the middle, copper nickel on the ring. It's a 10 marca, or a 10 mark, so they have two different languages for the denomination on here. The locals would have called it marca, but in other countries, they would be more familiar with mark. Catalog number is KM77. This coin books for $2. There were 30 million of these minted in 1993. That is the most common year of this. It was probably minted for several years, over a decade, but half of them were made in 1993. But despite that, the price guide doesn't really show much of a difference in value between any of the years. We're going to move to Hong Kong, where we have Queen Elizabeth II. We flip it over. This is a $5 coin. It features a lion, portrait of a lion holding an orb. The lion itself is wearing a crown. This is the symbol for 5. That would be dollars. This one's going to be catalog KM39. It books for $3. The first year of the $5 denomination was 1976, and this version of the coin was only made until this year of 1979, and then in future years it was round and made with security reading. Next, we're going to go to an older coin from Romania. Unfortunately, this one is quite well worn, so it's kind of hard to see the details on here. This one might only be fine condition. But this comes during the reign of Ferdinand I. This one is a 1 leu coin. There are two versions of this coin, and the Krause catalog notates the difference between the coins, but gives them the same catalog number 46, and that has to do with the mint mark. This one does not have a mint mark right here in this kind of empty space over the middle of the wheat right there. If it does not have a mint mark like this one, that means it was made in Brussels and has a thin planchet. The other version of this coin has a lightning bolt for the Poissy mint, and that one has a thicker planchet. We're going to move to a coin from Iceland. This one is a 2 kroner coin. I thought I had this one. As it turns out, I didn't, because the 2 kroner from 1940 is a little bit hard to find. We have the next version of the kroner almost is an identical on this side, but the back has been replaced with instead of having the crest of the crown, the monogram of Christian X, it has their new coat of arms. But in this version of the coin from 1940, Christian X, this one is catalog number KM4.2. There is no mint mark on here, so in 1940 these coins were made in London. But the earlier version of this coin, which I also do not have, is version 0.1 of this coin, and it has a mint mark of a heart, which you'll find on a lot of Denmark coins, as well as the mint master initials, and so you'd see it in kind of the empty space here and here. As it turns out, those that older version of the coin, which was made in 1925 and 1929, are a lot more valuable. That coin in extra fine condition would be worth $45 according to the price guide. This one is worth $4 since it is the more common version. There were 546,000 of these minted. In the last video, I noted that there were a lot of interesting Arabic coins that had some kind of weird residue on it. I wonder if it was taped down using packing, like the brown packing tape, and that might be what this residue is. So that does kind of ruin it a little bit. Now this one wasn't even in that great of a condition anyway, but it's not a coin that you see all that often. We're going to flip it over, and if you see this design of the eagle between the two flags like this is from the Yemen Arab Republic. And so this is their coat of arms. We come back on this side. It is a 1 rial. Has our calendar date of 1976, their calendar of 1396. The catalog number here is Y number 42. This was the first year they made this coin and it not be made out of silver. And so an interesting comment or note is if you look this up in the Krause catalog, it said this coin was minted from 1976, this year, all the way up through 1993, which is a mistake because after 1990, the North and South Yemen, this would be from the north, the Arab Republic was from the north, and South Yemen unified, and so they had a new currency which still looked like this, but was actually from unified Yemen, so there are some differences to it. It should have its own catalog number, but apparently it doesn't. We're going to move to the Soviet Union, where most of their circulating coins this side of the 1960s do not have a lot of interesting details to them. However, they did have a small set of circulating commemorative coins, which they used in 1967. We're going to come to this one right here. So it has a date of 1917 and 1967, which was the day this coin was made. And this is going to translate to 50 years of Soviet rule. So it would also be the 50th anniversary of the Bolshevik October Revolution. And as we flip this one over, it's a 20 kopeck coin. And on here is a Navy ship. It is the cruiser called Aurora, which apparently fired the first shot of the Bolshevik Revolution. This coin is made out of copper, nickel, zinc. It's not particularly rare. There were 50 million of them made. However, a lot of these older Soviet coins are going up in value, and since it is a one-year commemorative coin, even though this isn't the best condition, it's still worth $3. Catalog number is Y138. But we've got one more Soviet coin to look at, and that from the same set. We've got the 10 kopeck. And by the way, out of the set, they also had a 15, which I always thought it was weird that they even had a 15 kopeck coin to begin with. Who else has done that? But then also the 50 kopeck and the whole ruble were also part of this 50th anniversary set. Now this one, it looks like a rocket that's taking off in front of a radiant sun. So that isn't just any particular rocket, but it is a replica of a monument called the Monument to the Conquerors of Space in Moscow. So that actual monument does look like a rocket that is held up by this large blast behind it. So big, I guess, concrete holding the rocket up in the sky. That was built in 1964, and of course this coin, just like the last one, is dated 1967. The last one was Y138. This one is Y136. So again, it has the 2 dates of the October Revolution on here, so it's still the 50th anniversary. And so we've also got the crest of the Soviet Union right here, and is radiating as well. Now, I did have this coin, but I don't think I noticed in the past that it actually has rings of a rocket going around it. So the same rocket is right here at the top of the coin. So if you like space travel, then you might find this one interesting. So this one has a book value in this condition of $1. We're going to move back to Egypt. This one's going to be a 10 millémes. Has a date on our calendar of 1977. Their calendar is 1397. This is the Egypt Arab Republic. Catalog number on this one is KM 464. This one is an FAO coin, as the words that are right here in Arabic and then right here essentially translate to saving for development. And then as we flip this one over, this is a interesting design where essentially any side is up. And so it features essentially different various types of laborers. And so I figured this was meant for modern audiences, but some of these kind of look like what you would think of ancient carvings that you might find on the pyramids or something like that, but perhaps these are modern jobs. And so all of them are around this little spiral that is in the middle. This one is catalog KM 464. Next up is a coin from Australia. I've probably shown this one several times, but I do like to pick it up. This one is a nice chunky coin, dated 1983. It's the Australian 50 pence piece. This one is just the standard circulating coin that you probably find the most often from Australia, but we've got the kangaroo and the emu over the shield, or around the shield with the 50. And so these are pretty popular, so I like to pick them up every time I find them. We're going to go back to Peru. This time we have a 10 centavos, dated 1964. And this one is going to be an upgrade to my collection. Oftentimes these old brass coins that can stain or tarnish pretty bad. But I also pick up this coin pretty often when I find it because there are a lot of versions that I can't keep straight. I think there were about 6 or 7 different versions of this coin. And there was a similar design that was used for probably 50 years. And this one is the most common design. It's catalog number KM224.2. But on this version of the coin, it's the thin planchet. It is called the long legend, so the words stretch all the way around the coin. But other versions between this one and some of the older coins might deal with the size of the gap between the top of the head and the letters, or the gap between Republica and Peru, Ana, on the top. But also some older versions of this design actually took, instead of having the date and numbers, actually spelled it out in actually spelled out 1964 in Spanish. And so I think it's easier for me to decipher the numbers because I can read those, and I have to actually translate all of the words when they come out that way. But glad to have this one as an upgrade. Now we're going to move to a coin from Pakistan. This one is the 2 paisa, and we'll come back to the side in a moment. But this one is from 1964, and like a lot of Pakistan coins, it has the crescent moon and star at the top above a tougher symbol. This one is catalog number KM25. And so on the 2 paisa, this is the first year of the denomination of the 2 paisa, and very soon after they switched to a decimal system. This is made out of bronze, and this was made from 1964 until about 1967. And then in 68, they replaced this bronze coin with an aluminum coin that looked very similar, except it was round. And then the same year, they went ahead and brought back a scalloped design. So they were using both a round and a scalloped aluminum coin for about 5 or 6 years after this one was discontinued. Next, I have a couple of coins from Syria. I did not intend to purchase 2 of these, but they're both in good shape. So one of these will be an upgrade to my collection. This one is a 50 piastres. It's only made for 1 year, and that year is listed as Arabic 1399. Our calendar is 1979. Catalog number on this one is 119. And so the symbol right here, that is a falcon. It's called the Falcon of Curish. And not always, but this year they did have a 3-star design on the shield of the falcon. And this coin was made at a mint. I looked it up. I wasn't familiar with it. It was the Varian. I'm going to have trouble pronouncing a German word here. Varianid Deutsche Metalworks, or abbreviated VDM. The last coin in our video today is going to be from Denmark. It's going to be a 20 kroner. And like a lot of Denmark coins, there are hearts that appear on it. So we've got a bunch of hearts surrounding the 3 lions with the crown on the top. We flip this one over, and it has Queen Margaret II. Denmark's queen is how that translates on here. This one's dated 1990. This is the second portrait of Queen Margaret II. And there are also some segmented reading on here, or actually alternating reading, so you have smooth and then reeded as you go around the edge on this one. And this is one of those coins that I'll sometimes find in quarter bins that actually has a decent foreign exchange value, as Denmark never moved off the euro. This coin, 1 kroner, is worth about 15 cents in American money, so a 20 kroner is going to be, at least as of today, worth about $3. And so that makes it one of the higher value coins as far as foreign exchange value that you could find in a bin. And so what was, that is the last coin in this video. So in video 1 of the series, all of the coins had a book value of $33.80. So do you think we beat that in this video? And the answer is yes, but only because of the last coin being worth $3. The total value of this bag was $35.90. And so there is going to be a part 3 of this series coming up next, and it's going to be the coins that I just slid on the screen right here. So come back for that one, and we'll see if we can get a total book value of everything from this series of, let's see if we can get a book value of $100 after we add up the value of everything that's left on the screen. All right, I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.